Obviously, Teofimo, we saw the power play that he made against Bob Arum. Hopefully, Terence Crawford will open his eyes and see the money that is out there in the market for them as fighters. So you see, Teofimo was offered $1.25 million to fight Kambosos. Now, Kambosos is a good fighter, but Bob, he only offered Teofimo Lopez $1.25 million, knowing the fact that Teo is coming off his biggest win and he had 3 belts. So obviously, Teo took it to purse bid, in which DAZN came into the equation. Also, TRILLER came into the equation. TRILLER pulled off the fight. Now, Teo is going to get paid a $3.9 million. However, Bob is going to get 20+% cut. Now, Teo is going to walk away with $3.1 million. So, with that being said, there is no excuse because Pacquiao is fighting Mikey Garcia, according to the news, or as far as what Mikey's saying. So if that's the case, right, and Pacquiao is out of the equation, and now what Shawn Porter has to do, because I'm getting tired of all the talk and the back and forth, and I want the fight, but wanting is one thing, action is another. And we always speak about action. You see what Bill Haney and Devin Haney doing. They trying to make the fight. They reaching out to the other side, to Lomachenko team to make the fight. We heard about Kenny Porter going to Bob Arum office to talk to Bob about the fight. They trying to get a better purse because Bob said, we got $1 million for you. We all know that's a low ball. That's a low ball offer. You know, that's not up for debate. But why not take it to purse bid? Why not Shawn Porter? He needs to go ahead and petition for his WBO mandatory position so he could force the fight. And once the fight is forced and Bob Arum gives him an offer that he's not happy with, like I said before, take it to purse bid. And when you out in the open market, if TRILLER is offering $6 million for Kambosos versus Teofimo Lopez, knowing that fight is not a pay-per-view fight, let's all be honest, they might offer 10, 15 million for Terence Crawford versus Shawn Porter, because that is a pay-per-view fight that's going to do tremendous numbers. So there is no excuse for Shawn Porter not to petition, but to activate his mandatory position to fight Terence Crawford and force that fight, since Terence doesn't have any other option. What's your take on making that decision the way Kambosos did, and obviously for the fight to go to purse bid the way Teo did with Bob, if Porter doesn't like the purse that's being offered?
I mean, that was the first thing I thought after Teofimo and Kambosos' fight went to purse bid and it came to a success, and they ended up getting way more than I thought they would. And that's a fight that isn't really, nobody really cares to see. Like, let's be honest here. Yeah, Kambosos is a decent fighter, but it's not the fight people want to see Teofimo fight next. So TRILLER was able to make that fight happen and put $6 million in it. So imagine Shawn Porter versus Terence Crawford, which is a fight people have been asking for a minute. Like, I don't see why Shawn Porter can't go to purse bid, activate his mandatory, and see where he goes from there. Because I guarantee he's going to get offered well more than $1 million for that if he ends up going to purse bid. That's a guarantee. This is Bob Arum. Bob Arum is probably going to give you the minimum, but I'm pretty sure there's other promotions and other teams that are willing to get more because they see the promise in that fight.
Right. Different sectioning bodies have different splits when it comes to the purse bid, and the purse splits rules are different per organization. Some organizations have it 75-25% split. Some other organizations, such as the IBF, have it 35-65% split. I don't know what it is for the WBO. I got to go check and do my research on that. But as far as if this fight goes to purse bid, maybe that's a $10 million bid on the table. If that's the case, 35% of $10 million, that's $3.5 million for Shawn. 25% is $2.5 million. You know what I'm saying? So you're walking away with that much money. You might even get a bid that's more than $10 million, because this is a pay-per-view fight that will do around $300K pay-per-view. So like I said, there is no excuse for Shawn Porter not to petition for this fight if he really wanted. It's the fight that we all want to see. Kenny Porter, he been going out of his way to try to make this fight happen. But I don't care how much you try to sweet talk Bob. If he offering his own fighter, Teo, $1.25 million when he got 3 belts, what do you think he's going to offer you when you're just a challenger with no belt? He's not going to offer you much. You know what I'm saying? He's only going to offer you $1 million. Like he said, I don't think Bob is moving away from that $1 million. He's offering anybody and everybody $1 million. So Shawn has to take that because it's his responsibility at this moment in time. It ain't Terence. Terence is the champion. Shawn is the mandatory. So you don't want to lose your mandatory position. You want to go ahead and petition for that title because the only way Terence was going to go elsewhere was if the Pacquiao fight was on the table, because that's a bigger fight. The only way you could get an exception for a mandatory is when you have a bigger fight on the table. Pacquiao fight will definitely have been a bigger fight. Since that's off the table, then Shawn, if he petitions, he guaranteed to get this fight. So if he doesn't petition, I don't want to hear the fans complaining about Crawford not fighting Shawn, because it's not Crawford's fault at this moment in time if Shawn doesn't petition, because he will end up losing his mandatory position. Wouldn't you agree?
I absolutely agree, because I've been talking to people for the longest, and people keep telling me that Terence Crawford stuck in Shawn Porter, and I'm like, Shawn Porter's the mandatory. It's not up to Terence Crawford to tell to fight Shawn Porter. It's up to Shawn Porter to activate his mandatory, set up the fight with Terence Crawford. There's nothing Terence Crawford can do. It's up to Shawn Porter to make that first step so this fight can get made. And if Shawn Porter doesn't get that doesn't make that step, what do you expect Terence Crawford to do at the end of the day? Terence Crawford's never stepped away from the mandatory before, and he's already said that he's willing to fight Shawn Porter if necessary. So, yeah, I was excited at the idea of Shawn Porter going to Bob Arum, because I'm like, he's not going there if he doesn't want to make the fight, but you got other options. As we saw recently, Teofimo and George Kambosos took the lottery and made that fight worth $6 million. So, in that fight, like I said, no one really cares for that. That fight's not really popular. So imagine what Terence Crawford versus Shawn Porter will be like. That's the fight everybody wants to see. That's the fight people keep saying, considering no one thinks Terence Crawford wants to fight Shawn Porter, yet it's not his fault. So I absolutely believe that Shawn Porter needs to take care of this opportunity, and if he doesn't, well, there's nothing you can say about Terence Crawford. You can't blame him for that.
And obviously, we talking about the open market with the way Teo gambled. You have a lot of different boxing entities or even companies that want to expand. You obviously got Triller. You have DAZN, Eddie Hearn looking to sign fighters left and right and offering crazy money. So knowing that Terence is about to become a free agent, you know Eddie Hearn is interested. You know Eddie Hearn is lurking. You know Eddie Hearn is very interested in Terence Crawford, and he's most likely interested and will be interested in Terence versus Porter. So he might really bid a lot of money in order to get that fight on DAZN. If ESPN doesn't want to put the right purse for these two fighters to fight each other, I'm pretty sure another entity will, such as DAZN or Triller, like you talked about. So, yeah, hopefully this fight does happen. This fight, we've been talking about it for a while, and the only thing that's wrong in the sport of boxing is that we talk about fights for too damn long. All we do is talk about fights that never materialize, that's what's hurting the sport. Like I said, when you got in the UFC, freaking Usman and Masvidal, they fight each other on a 1 week notice, and we got Canelo not fighting Charlo for 6 years. We have Terence and Errol Spence drama that's been on for such a long time. So it's a lot of politics. There's a lot of things that's involved. There's a lot of, like the fans say, ducking going on. So hopefully the fights will get made, because we tired of talking about fights. We really got to see something cooking. With that being said,
hold it. You're not that pretty. I'm a bad man. Wait. I took up the world. I took up the world. I bear witness, there's only one God, Allah, and Muhammad is his final messenger. That's what I said, Larry, on the Bungle fight. Thanking you.
They call me the problem, but you could call me the can man, because anybody can get it. Africans, Americans, Dominicans, Mexicans, anybody can get it.